For 34 years, he felt worthless, a prisoner of his past, trapped in a cycle of self-doubt. But then something shifted. The victim became the victor. The darkness gave way to purpose, and he became the doctor of self-worth.
I'm Endre Hoffmann. I have been in the trenches. I felt the sting of failure, the weight of inadequacy, and the pain of low self-worth over and over again. But I've also climbed out of that abyss, transforming pain into power and a message. Today, I'll be sharing my story and inspiring you to move from unconsciousness to purpose. Keep listening.
No matter how dark the night is, the sun always rises. No matter how hard life gets, keep moving forward. You never know what amazing things are waiting just around the corner. No story is too rough and no journey is too tough. Join us on Stretch Street to be inspired by the stories of people who have been through it all and come out stronger. Stretch Street Podcast. Stretching without snapping.
Right. Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode on the Stretch Street Podcast. This is the energetic EJ. So today I have my guest in the studio, and like you heard from him, he will be sharing his story from moving from unconsciousness and low self-worth and all of those to becoming the doctor of self-worth. What's the story behind that? What are some challenges that he's experienced, and what are the life lessons that he has learned from those experiences? These and many more are what we're going to be covering on the show today. Hello, Endre. How are you doing?
Thanks very much. I'm really glad to be here on your stage, and I'm ready to stretch your audience's capacities and their imagination about what they're capable of doing and achieving in the world.
I love that. I love it. All right, let's start from just before we even get into doctor of self-worth, how you came about that. Give us a little insight about who you are and, one thing you want us to remember about you.
What a good question. I hope you have to ask, because I have some stories to tell. But let's say I was born in Central Europe, and I did not connect with my dad very well. It was very dysfunctional, to be honest. And when I found myself ignored and not loved, and I felt these insecurities, I could not know what was wrong with me. And possibly early on in life, I've lost my true self. And most of my life after that, for the next 35 years, I've been proving myself. I didn't even know that this not feeling good enough, not feeling that I deserve better, or it is lack of confidence, lack of self-belief. Probably I've lost touch with myself. Literally, I've lost touch with my emotions. I had to repress it all, because at home was walking on a minefield. My dad was angry, flaring up. He was sometimes mentally, emotionally abusive, and a bit of physical as well. And from that environment, I came out as, well, the small version of me. And as you may have heard before, for the next 3 decades, I've been trying everything I could. Spent over $100,000. I did personal development courses, traveled to 70 countries. I was looking for spiritual gurus everywhere to tell me what's wrong with me. I studied books. I've done Tony Robbins and John D. Martini's Millionaire Mind, Brian Tracy's courses, yet nothing has really changed. And eventually 6 years ago, when my life was about to collapse and my fatherhood was on the line in Australia, luckily I was able to finally being put under so much pressure. I was about to lose my health, my wife and my kids. And I think I became 110% committed. And I believe that's what it takes sometimes for this unconsciousness, for the mind to shift. And after decades of struggle, I found a mindset specialist, a mindset coach. And with him, he has helped me to rewrite my whole story, my identity, who I feel like being today. And I learned that the shortcut to new results and a new life is self-image, is identity. It's not what you need to do. It's not what you need to say. It's not the affirmations. It's
who you need to be.
yes, identity. And from that shift, this brand was born, the Doctor of Self-Worth, and ever since I've been helping people in groups or in a one-on-one setting in 3 or 4 continents. And recently I moved after 12 years of Australia to Central Europe, and we're just setting ourselves up here on a small farm with a country home, and we're just back from a caravan trip again. We love traveling around, and I don't like to know where we are going to sleep. I don't know. It feels like Earth is my home. I don't believe in, nature parks and national parks. I don't understand why we would even charge sometimes to access them, because I believe if Earth is our home, and it is our home, you wouldn't need to pay if you go from the living room to the bathroom, right?
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So I believe that hopefully we'll be new consciousness on Earth, and I'm really out there to elevate people so they can get more of what they want and have a message and share their greatness and turn it into dollars or euros. I believe there is this new freedom for people who are stepping up, and they're able to probably seek the help that they need the most. And that's really about accessing their own power, their own potential, which lies dormant for a lot of people. I would say 8 out of 10 people never in their lives get to live in inspiration and achieve what they've been dreaming about. It remains a dormant wish.
So my question is, like, you said you had to spend a lot, worked with a lot of, gurus, traveled a lot, engaged or, took on courses around personal development and everything until you met this mindset coach. What would you say was different this time? Because again, some of the names you mentioned are also into, mind shifts and all of that. What was that thing? Was it a moment, a technique that made the shift for you? What made it different this time?
Look, I think there is only one final, condition to transformations. And I, as you know, I've been in the transformation business for now 6 years. And I think it's a commitment. And the decision to give up plan B or C or any other options. And I know it sounds really extreme, but I had to, with all the money that I spent and with all the courses and the problem is most people are sort of loading up on IQ. I need to learn more. Well, you may not. You may need to find your identity, your true self, which has been lost decades or years ago. And when you make that decision, that final decision, then, there will be obviously time and money to be invested. Those things become details. And I think that decision, that level of commitment is changing your attraction field. So you're not attracting anymore the stuff to waste your time and resources. Now you end up with this level of, well, what works now? Because I've had enough. That's where I was. It's almost like this anger. And the funny part was really that I said, I had enough. I had enough of paying for things that did not deliver the results, although probably I wasn't really clear on what I needed or what I wanted. Because, and this may help you as well, I believe there are 3 stages to personal breakthroughs. And number 1 is this unconscious self. When things are going hard, it's a struggle, you might need to work for someone else, the conditions are set, life sucks. The second stage is, I believe, let's say, best version they call it, or we could call it emotional freedom. You're not reacting anymore. And the third one, what I'm talking about, is authentic self, where your life purpose becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. Obviously, it's a process. But what you will see is the universe, God, will start to put stairs under your feet. You will get, let's say, clues. You will get intuition to help you. You will have people showing up. So there is this magical support from spirit, or however you want to frame it. And then you will have challenges because it is uncomfortable. But then you have that North Star, and then it gets clearer and clearer. It's almost like, imagine when the sky is full of clouds, but inside you believe the sun is shining somewhere. Not for me, but I've heard the sun is shining, and some people get sunlight directly. And then this work of transformation, we start to knock out the clouds. Sometimes one by one, and sometimes by many. And what's left there, nice and slow, is a blue, beautiful sky and the sun in the middle. And life gets easier. Because it's about really the 2 biggest questions that most people struggle with. Who are you? And why you're here for? Because if you're able to figure that out, then probably your job is not gonna tick the boxes anymore. You literally be uncomfortable. You grow out of that box. You will never ever fit
Into any box.
into any box.
So what are some practical steps? Say somebody's listening to you right now and they're thinking, I resonate with what you're saying, and maybe somebody's thinking, I've been on that journey. I'm that person you're talking about who always just feels I still need to learn something. There's still something out there for me. There's something I need to do. How do they pause or stop to then navigate or reroute to say, who am I and how can I become the full essence of me? What would you say are some practical steps that you can share with us?
Well, I just realized so I will answer, of course, but I realized on my webpage there is a free giveaway. It's called, how did I call this? I think I called this Get Your Shit Together in 6 easy steps so that you can get what you want. And I want to give you a very succinct, small summary. I believe that where you come from, probably you brought a lot of limitations. And this could be your life journey, painful events, mom and dad's limitations and how they have been dealing with the world and with you. At times I find a lot of crap from school where authorities been telling you that you're no good or you haven't got talent or you are hopeless. Then unfortunately, so you must have heard this, up to the age of 10, 12, life has been installing the map for the rest of your life. And I normally say, if you didn't have, let's say, self-actualized millionaire parents, probably you have some limitations around money, Maybe you don't believe that you're allowed to work 2 days a week, 3 days a week. You had been suggested. And at some points in the past, you may have had some traumatic events that has changed your identity and probably has minimized your power. Or I could even say the way you have interpreted those events has been, you've given away your power. And I'm here to find your power, to pick yourself up from the past so we can rebuild that authentic self. But the answer, as I said, is really, let's go back to common sense. I really love simplifying things. So how do you break out of your old self or your old life? Well, we talked about identity or self-image. And if I want to simplify this, then all the things that happened to you up to this point and how you have evaluated it or what you told to yourself about it is your self-image or your identity, which we know is the blueprint for the results that you already have in your life. So if you think things that are not working in health, wealth, relationships, these are the three big ones normally, then let's make it really simple. You need to find someone who has done the breakout that you are looking for, right? Someone who has been in the challenges that you have, and she has transformed her life to have the results that you want. Now, there's one more thing. Some people don't know how to get other people do the journey. So,
Exactly. Just what is in my head.
so yes, exactly. You want someone who has done it and someone who is helping others to do it with consistent results. It's so simple. Don't listen to mom or dad or your best friends, because they may be people from your old life, doing the pity parties. If you don't want to belong there, then you need to find someone who can help you. Do your research. And this was the biggest learning for me. I said I had enough. I spent my $100,000. And now my question will be, are you going to give me a guarantee? Like, it was already too expensive. I said, I don't believe in myself anymore. And I don't believe change is possible for me. Because I've been doing this for 20 years and nothing has worked. That was a belief. But then find a way to do your background checks, reviews, do your due diligence, and then really have a sense of the team who's going to help you. It doesn't necessarily be me, but make sure that you have some sort of money back guarantee for the results that you're looking for, so you're not wasting your time and energy. I would say whoever you work with, in a matter of few months, you need to feel different inside. You need to build a new identity. And if you don't feel that, probably you're wasting your time. So don't stay with, I hate to say, with therapists who are saying, oh, in the third year, magical things going to happen, because that's not how transformational changes happen. Psychologically, there is usually new insights, new understanding, and each of those sessions that you're attending, is evaluating the past in a different way, which means you're becoming a different person in the past, in the now, and in the future, because time does not exist as we experience it. So all you need to do then, find someone who is delivering results and commit to the process, whatever it takes. And keep your eyes open if it's working, and then don't look left or right. Do as much as you need to. It might take you 6 to 12 months. That's what it is usually with me. And make sure that they care about results. That's how I set up my business. I don't want your money. If you don't get the results, here's your money, go back. It never happened. But I would rather have my reputation than have someone who's spending their money and time with me and not getting results. things need to shift and change in this personal development industry. There's so much rip-off going on.
I hear you. I hear you clearly. So first of all is to be the one to first do the commitment. And part of you being that committed person and making that decision, like I've had enough and I want a change, is to then carry out your own due diligence and look for somebody who has been there and done that and still doing it and go work with them. And the reason, from my understanding of what you said now, and as you were speaking, what was coming to me was that, see, the reason you can't like do it on your own is because if you could on your own, you would have.
You've already,
And if you, yes, and if you got yourself into that pit, then it's most likely you need help to get out of it, which is why you should look for somebody who has been there in that same pit, come out, not just come out, but you can see evidences of them helping other people come out of that same pit. And then you can commit to the process 110%, and definitely you're going to get the result. I like that. Yeah, go ahead.
one tiny thing I want to add. When you find out this person's story, I would say 99%, they didn't do it themselves. They had a life rope from someone.
Yes.
Maybe you know about Tony Robbins, yeah? Well, I can tell you, Jim Rohn, he needed someone to basically give him hope, give him, we could call coaching, we could call mentoring, someone who is getting out of them from the loop. Because the mind has this tendency that we just keep going on in circles
Going in circles.
and never get anywhere. And you know why? I tell you why. Because your mind is a database, a collection of data, information, emotions, all of that up to this point in time. But it can only give you answers from the past that you have experienced. Like, how could it give you different answers?
Something fresh.
It's a survival mind. It tells you how to avoid painful events, like being laughed at or mocked at in front of a class that happened to you at age 10. Now, it won't let you to do public speaking. It's unsafe. It feels like, for this one, it feels like the tiger. It has this black and white thinking. It says, well, we're not doing that. It's too unsafe. So you start to do all the avoidance patterns that's under the sun because the mind is so creative. It will tell you, oh, I don't know enough. Oh, I haven't got the knowledge. No. I need to do this course now. And like me, you would end up going to new courses all over again to prove myself that you now know enough. Nah. This mind won't help you.
So that's why you need an external force to help you break the cycle, give you a new perspective so that you can get a different type of result. Wow. I love that.
It's almost like I had so many examples, and especially recently, where people had just, remember, we have a map from early life. And the map could say, I'm unlucky. Like I literally work with people who believe that they're unlucky. Now, guess what happens? Your mind is only gathering evidence for you. Same thing, I'm not good enough. That was my pattern. Imagine what happened in my life. I've seen a reflection of me not being good enough in every area of life non-stop. Or I'm not smart enough. I haven't got enough money. I haven't got enough time. These are beliefs. And if you buy into the story, you will be beyond help. But if someone catches you and say, hey, do you realize you saying, being verbal about how you are always getting the wrong business partner, just an example. Or you're getting into these businesses and relationships where you're obligated, you just keep giving and giving and giving. obviously there is some kind of lack of self-worth issues where you give, and nothing comes back. You're never going to have a business. You're never going to break out of your own life. Because at that point, you are rescuing, you're people pleasing. Something needs to come back. We need a balance of giving and receiving. So that's why I've set up also my business in I think it's the fairest possible way. I say, if you are serious about your transformation, I've got slots in my calendar. I'm happy to spend an hour and a half with you free. Abnormal, right? But I want to make sure that I can help you. If I can. I don't know. And I want to make sure that you could have goals that are, for me, economical to work with or ecological to work with. There was a woman that came to me. She said, well, help me to tolerate the abuse that I get from my husband. So, well, you need to find someone else. I'm not doing that work. What I can do for you is helping you to build authenticity, to be standing on your feet and communicate in a way where you create boundaries, where you will be heard. And yes, maybe that relationship won't last if there is no partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. I get what you mean. So yeah, love it. I love that concept of, just spending that 1.5 hour with 90 minutes with you to know if we're a good fit. And if we are in those 90 minutes, you would know that I can actually help you. And I think that's a beautiful one. What Before we close out the session is to ask, like, what are some life lessons that you can share from your own story of of going through that transformational journey to getting to where you are today, and now you're helping people? What are some life lessons that you've learned about recovering from no self-worth or low self-worth to becoming this person who understands his worth and is actually helping other people see their worth as well? What are left? Just share with
I
us.
think the biggest one is believing and suggesting to yourself that change is possible. But what's the distinction? Change is possible for you. Because I was telling myself, not for me. They are lucky, they have a different story. And probably the third one is really never give up. Find something that works. And the reason why I'm able to give guaranteed results is because I want to know what you want. But also you need to have tools that work, consistently work. In my case, it's NLP and a few other emotional transformation techniques. It really doesn't matter. But having the right tools is a must-have, because time, you cannot recover time. You're losing time and you can't have it back. I can't have my 35 years back. So I'm hoping that I can reduce the journey for others, shortcut their transformation. So I believe the three biggest things, as I said, is make sure you suggest and help yourself to believe. And again, you need the people who believe in the same thing around you. Because the default mode is you probably go back to people who you feel comfortable with. That's the biggest problem. They will tell you their own experiences about life, that there is not enough money, there is not enough time. If you start believing
Yeah,
that,
it's almost like misery. Yeah, misery loves company.
then you're done.
Yeah.
Then you pretty much buried yourself. So have the right people around you, believe that change is possible, and find someone who can help you. And you already have the formula that I shared before.
The roadmap. I love it. So quickly, if anybody wanted to work with you or check out your free resource, what can they do to access it?
The easiest way is a webpage called www.doctorofselfworth. This one block, DOCTOROF 𝐲𝐬𝐿.com. And there is a free resources page. I have quite a few. How to discover your authentic self faster than you ever thought possible. I give you the steps. Most people can't do it on their own, but I'm happy to give it to you. There's the other one that I told you about is sort your shit out so you can get what you want. And there's a few other ones, self-worth principles. Download them free. You can use them. You can share them. And also there is probably on top of every page, there's just a book a session where I will give you a few online tests before we jump on a Zoom call and we'll have a chat. I don't know how it's going to come about. I need to know your story.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Just getting to know that, okay, are we a good fit or not? And that's okay. So, but I feel like even at that, they would get some value just from speaking to you, because sometimes the beginning of the transformation is really awareness. Some people are just, they just know that something is wrong. They can't pinpoint what is wrong, but there are kind of conversations you get into that it just makes it clearer for you. And when you are more aware of what is going on, when you can articulate it with words, which is what a coach like you can help people do, then it's possible for that conversation to spark hope in them to say, okay, maybe change is available for me, and then they can take it further to say, all right, let's work together. So I really love your approach.
You've got it. That first session is about connecting the dots that they have not been aware of. So I set myself up to give life-changing breakthroughs for free, even if I never see them again, because awareness is step one for massive change to occur. And I always give that away.
More blessing to you. Thank you so very much for just being the amazing person that you are, for sharing your story, and for going on your own transformational journey and not leaving it there, but also sending the rope down to people who are still in that pit and helping them come out of that pit of low self worth or no self worth to actually becoming their powerful self, embracing their own unique identities. I appreciate your presence here. Thank you for sharing, and I wish you all the best. So, guys, please, I'm going to leave the link to Andre's website and social media handles. Are you on socials?
Yes, I forgot to tell you. Yes, I'm on most of the channels, but probably the easiest way to find me is you put hashtag Doctor of Self-Worth and you end up on one of my pages. You find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter or X or TikTok and Instagram, of course.
Okay.
And I have a YouTube channel with a lot of free resources. Probably got 300 or 400
Awesome.
pieces of content.
Awesome. Awesome.
Use it.
Love it. Love it. So I'm just going to add all the links in the description of this podcast so that you can go feast on it and then connect with Andre so that you can even book that discovery call with him and see, you know, how your own transformational journey can begin. Thank you so much again one more time. And this is where we draw the curtain on this episode. I'll be back next week with another guest. Till then, remember, life is full of challenges, but they're not here to break you. Maybe they will stretch you. Definitely they will stretch you. But when you look at the lessons that they are there to teach you, then those lessons become value to you and to other people if you take a step further to share with others. All right? So I come your way again next week. This is the Energetic EJ, and this is Stretch Street Podcast. Bye-bye.